So just an update on my Green Mark III. It's been running well. Tuning's been going quite well as well, but taken out to a few shows. It's getting quite a good response, which is nice. But the trigger issue, for some reason, just wouldn't let us get above 4,000. You get up to about 5,000 and the car just cut out, popped and banged, and you got to turn it all off and start it back up again, and starts fine, it's good to go. So I decided I'd pull the triggers out. So this is a trigger system I made for the Pinto. So you've got crank trigger and home signal. The home signal one seems to be working quite well actually, because it's only one tooth. This one here is the crank trigger is 36 minus one tooth. But as you can see from some of the pics, that the trigger wheel is kind of right off to one side. I mean, it doesn't look like it's been hitting it at all, but it could definitely be moved over about 3 mil. I might try swapping the sensors anyway, swap them over and see if that changes anything. Yeah, it's a weird one. Like, it only happens up high RPMs, and it's almost like, you know, like a fuel or ignition cut, but it just stops the engine, it pops and bangs, and you've got to shut it down completely and start up again. And it starts fine, it's just it won't let you get up there. And on a trigger scope, it looked like this one here, the crank trigger, was just dropping off. So I'll swap them over, and while I'm swapping them over, I will try and trim this block here down and move the sensor closer to the plate a couple of mil, and it'll put the wheel, you know, bang smack in the middle of that sensor, and then I will try and gap them as close as I can to see if that changes anything. If not, I know it's not a sensor, because if it does it with this sensor in place, then it's not a sensor. And if it doesn't, then I should probably just replace this one, because I'm pretty sure one of these, when I bought them, they only had one in stock and I really wanted two. And I'm pretty sure this one here came off a display model, so I'm not really sure how good it is, but I'll swap them over and find out. Pulled them out, swapped them over, and it runs quite well actually. It free revs, you know, nicely up to about 6-7. Probably gonna have to set a rev limiter on it now, but at 10 psi and up around about 5,000 psi, 5,000 rpm, the car's quite terrifying actually. So we're going to wind some more boost into it and then find out what the limits of that stock Pinto is, and then we'll dig out the built bottom end and then slap that in there and go and have some real fun. I'm not far off needing this block, so I'm just going to pull it apart and have a look at it, because it's been 17 months since I put it together, and as you can see, there's a bit of surface rust there. It's been sitting for a while. I know it's been wrapped, but I'll pull it apart and go through it. I think I'll clearance those areas where it's the oil squirters are by the piston, because it does get pretty close there. So I think I'll just make a little bit of a clearance. Yeah, still pretty clean there. Bores still look alright as well, so I'm quite happy. I'll just give it a bit more of a clean up. Yeah, everything seems alright actually. I'll Loctite those oil squirters in this time. So here what you have is standard polished Pinto crank, Mini Cooper R35 under piston oil squirters, factory caps, new bearings, YB Cosworth pistons. They are like a 17cc dish in them, but I think next time I do this I might go flat top pistons and try and raise the compression. Cat rods, you can see the difference between the rods, standard rods, and those cat ones. They're a lot more beefier. So I'll give things a bit of a clean, Hippolyte piston rings, and then put it all back together again. Make sure everything's clearanced nicely, spinning nicely, and then that's good for when we blow the other one up. I was putting the block back together and I noticed that the oil ring wasn't spinning freely on the piston, and then when I looked at it, I think I must have pinched one of these when I was putting it together. So good thing I've pulled it apart. So I'll order one set of Hippolyte rings and then put it back together again.